The truth is, getting older doesn't make you unhappy. It's the emotional traps we fall into along the way that do. Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly, maybe after dinner or before bed, and wondering, why do I feel this emptiness inside? You have family, maybe grandchildren, a home, a routine, yet somehow there's a heaviness that doesn't go away. It's not sadness exactly, but it's not peace either. You're not alone. Many people after 60 feel this same quiet unhappiness, like life has slowed down, but the heart hasn't found its rest yet. And often, it's not because of physical health or money, it's something much deeper. It's emotional. You see, with age comes wisdom, but also emotional patterns that can trap us without even realizing it. They sneak in through our habits, our memories, and even our love for others. Over time, these emotions start shaping how we see ourselves and the world. That's why in this video, we're going to talk about the 4 emotional traps that silently make seniors unhappy, and most importantly, how to break free from them. Because no matter your age, you deserve peace, joy, and freedom from the emotional weight of the past. Let's start with the first emotional trap, the comparison trap. It starts so innocently. You see a friend your age traveling, staying active, looking fit. Or maybe you scroll through photos of old classmates, and suddenly you hear that little voice whisper, "You used to be like that once, but not anymore." You start comparing your life, your health, your achievements, even your body, to others. And every comparison chips away at your happiness a little more. What most people don't realize is that comparison steals gratitude. When you focus on what others have, you forget to notice what you still have. You stop seeing the beauty in your own story. You forget that your journey was never meant to look like anyone else's. Happiness after 60 doesn't come from being better than others. It comes from being grateful for what's yours. The moment you stop comparing, you start seeing blessings again. The sunrise you still get to watch, the laughter of your grandchildren, the small victories like a morning walk or a shared meal. If you ever catch yourself thinking, "I wish I were like them," try saying instead, "I'm thankful for what I have today." You'll be amazed how much lighter your heart feels when gratitude replaces comparison. Now let's talk about the second emotional trap, the guilt trap. This one runs deep. Many seniors carry years, sometimes decades, of emotional guilt. Maybe you regret not spending enough time with your children when they were young. Maybe you made choices you wish you could change. Or maybe it's guilt for simply growing older and needing help. Like you've become a burden. But guilt is one of the heaviest emotions we can carry because it has no finish line. You can't win against guilt by punishing yourself with thoughts like, "I should have done more," or "It's too late now." That thinking keeps your heart stuck in the past while your life is still waiting in the present. Let me tell you something important. You have already done enough. You did the best you could with what you had at the time. Maybe you didn't know what you know now, and that's okay. Life is about learning, forgiving, and growing, not reliving what can't be changed. When you start forgiving yourself, something beautiful happens. Your mind starts to rest. You stop replaying old scenes in your head. You start giving love more freely because you're not held hostage by the past. If you feel guilt rising up, try this small habit. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, "I release what I cannot change." Say it as often as you need to, because peace begins the moment you stop blaming yourself for being human. Now that we've talked about comparison and guilt, you might notice a pattern forming. These emotional traps don't come from the world outside. They come from the quiet conversations we have with ourselves, the thoughts we allow to stay too long. But once you recognize them, you have the power to change them. You can choose to be kind to yourself again. You can choose to celebrate what you've done instead of regretting what you haven't. And as you begin to let go of comparison and guilt, you'll notice something shifting. Your heart feels lighter. You start smiling for no reason again. You wake up and feel thankful, not tired of another day. Because deep down, happiness in this stage of life isn't about adding things. It's about removing what no longer serves you. Removing the emotional burdens that keep you from living fully in the moment. Now that we've released some of that emotional weight, the comparison, the guilt, it's time to uncover something even more hidden. Something many seniors struggle with but rarely talk about. It's the emotion that disguises itself as comfort, but slowly drains your spirit from the inside out. That emotion I was talking about is loneliness. It's the third emotional trap, and one of the most powerful forces shaping how we feel after 60. But here's the thing most people get wrong. Loneliness isn't always about being alone. You can be surrounded by people, family, friends, even a loving spouse, and still feel deeply lonely. It's not the absence of company that hurts the most. It's the absence of connection. As we grow older, life changes in ways that test our hearts. Maybe your partner has passed away. Maybe your children are busy with their own lives. Maybe the people you once laughed with aren't around anymore. The house feels quieter. Days blend together. And slowly, a kind of silence grows inside. Not just in the room, but in your heart. That silence can make you start believing something dangerous, that you're forgotten. But here's the truth. You are not forgotten. You are still needed, still valuable, still deeply capable of creating joy and meaning. The loneliness trap convinces you that your story has already been written, but it hasn't. There are still pages waiting to be filled, new friendships to form, new hobbies to explore, new ways to love life again. One of the most powerful ways to fight loneliness isn't by waiting for someone to reach out. It's by becoming the one who reaches out. Send that message first. Call that old friend. Say hello to your neighbor when you pass by. Join that community class or senior group you've been thinking about. You'd be surprised how many people are sitting at home right now, wishing someone would call them. And you could be the one to make that moment happen. Connection doesn't always appear magically. It grows where we water it, through small, consistent acts of kindness and openness. You don't need a crowd. You just need one or two genuine connections that make your heart feel seen. And the beautiful part is, every time you bring warmth into someone else's day, you'll find your own loneliness melting away too. But there's another side to this trap, one that's quieter and trickier to notice. Sometimes loneliness feels safer than vulnerability. You might think, what's the point of making new friends? They'll just leave, or I don't want to bother anyone. So you stay silent, you stay inside. And slowly, isolation becomes a habit. But deep down, your heart isn't meant to live in isolation. Humans are wired for connection at every age. Even small moments, a smile, a short chat, a shared story, are like medicine for the soul. If you've been feeling lonely, try this gentle challenge. Do one small act of connection every day. It could be a short phone call, a walk with someone, or just talking to the cashier at the market. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. Because the truth is, every time you open your heart to the world, you give it permission to love you back. Now that brings us to the fourth emotional trap. And it might be the most powerful one of all. It's not loud or obvious like loneliness. In fact, it often hides beneath comfort and routine. It's the fear trap. Fear after 60 doesn't always look like fear. Sometimes it looks like hesitation, like saying, I'm too old to start that, or it's too late to change. It's the voice that stops you from trying something new, from speaking your mind, from stepping out of your comfort zone. The fear trap tells you to play it safe. But here's the thing. Safety and fulfillment are not the same. You can live safely and still feel empty. You can stay in your comfort zone and still feel restless inside. Fear shrinks your world. It makes you focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. And the longer you listen to that voice, the smaller your life starts to feel. But let's be honest, after everything you've lived through, after all the storms you've already faced, what's left to fear, really? You've survived heartbreaks, challenges, disappointments, and losses. You've proven your strength countless times, even when you didn't realize it. So what would happen if instead of letting fear hold you back, you let curiosity lead the way? What if you said, "I'll try this just to see what happens," instead of, "What if I fail?" What if you decided that your story isn't finished yet, that there's still more life to experience, more laughter to share, more joy to feel? You see, courage doesn't mean you have no fear. Courage means you take the next step even though you feel it. And when you do, life opens up again. Maybe that means learning something new, starting a small project, or joining a local group. Maybe it's having an honest conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, every small act of courage expands your world, and with it, your happiness. Here's something powerful to remember. Fear loses its power when you take action, even a tiny action. Because action reminds your brain that you're still capable, still in control, still alive in every sense of the word. So if there's something you've been putting off, something that calls to you, don't wait for someday. Start today, in your own way. You've earned the right to live boldly, not cautiously. And when you free yourself from fear, something magical happens. Life starts to feel open again. Possibilities appear where there used to be limits. You begin to look forward to each day instead of just getting through it. Because the truth is, happiness after 60 isn't about chasing perfection. It's about emotional freedom. Freedom from comparison, freedom from guilt, freedom from loneliness, and now, freedom from fear. When you begin letting go of these emotional traps, you'll notice it, not just in your thoughts, but in your body. You'll sleep better, you'll laugh more, you'll feel lighter, and that's not just a coincidence. That's what happens when your heart finally gets to breathe again. As we reach the end of this video, let's take a step back and look at everything we've uncovered together. We talked about the 4 emotional traps that quietly steal happiness from so many older adults: guilt, comparison, fear of dependence, and loneliness. Each one of these emotions can take root slowly, without you even noticing, until suddenly you wake up feeling heavy, tired, and unsure of what went wrong. But here's the truth that most people overlook. You are not stuck there. You are never too old to heal, to change, or to choose joy again. Let's recap what we've learned, not as a list of lessons, but as reminders to guide you toward peace. We all make mistakes, as parents, as partners, as human beings. Guilt often grows from love, the love we wish we had expressed better. But guilt, when held for too long, becomes a prison. You deserve forgiveness, especially from yourself. Instead of asking, "Why did I do that?" start asking, "What can I do differently today?" Because life after 60 isn't about rewriting the past. It's about finding freedom in the present. Maybe you look at others and think they have it easier. Better health, more family visits, fewer struggles. But remember this: every life carries its own invisible battles. The moment you stop comparing, you start living your life again, with gratitude for the simple things that make your days beautiful. That morning walk, that warm cup of tea, that one friend who always checks in. Those aren't small things. Those are the big things. It's human to want independence. You've spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now the idea of needing help can feel like losing control. But needing help isn't weakness. It's a bridge to connection. When someone offers a hand, it's not because they see you as less. It's because they care. The happiest seniors in the world accept support as part of love. Remember, strength isn't doing everything alone. Strength is having the humility to say, I can't do this alone, but I'm grateful for those who stand with me. Even in a crowded world, loneliness can creep in quietly, especially when routines slow down or loved ones move away. But loneliness doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It's your soul reminding you that it still needs connection. Start small. Talk to a neighbor, join a local group, or reach out to a friend you haven't spoken to in years. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but connection is the medicine your heart has been waiting for. Emotional freedom isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing kindness toward yourself every single day, even when no one's watching. Wake up and tell yourself, I am still here, and that's enough. Smile at strangers. Forgive quickly. Laugh at little mistakes. Celebrate that you're still learning, still growing, still capable of love. Because the truth is, happiness at this stage of life doesn't come from what you achieve. It comes from how deeply you appreciate what remains. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Small changes can make a big difference in your happiness. Choosing to forgive yourself. Choosing to reach out. Choosing to be grateful, even for a single moment of peace. Those small steps, when repeated, become a path to a lighter, more joyful life. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these emotional traps have you faced? And how did you begin to break free? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might help someone else who feels alone right now. And if this message spoke to you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos filled with inspiration, wellness tips, and real stories about aging with grace and happiness. Growing older is not the end of joy. It's the beginning of wisdom. You've earned every wrinkle, every lesson, every breath. And now, it's time to live lighter, to fill your days not with regret, but with gratitude. So here's to you, to your courage, your resilience, and your heart that still beats with so much life to give. Here's to living your best life at any age.